Welcome back, my dear students. So, in this video, we will be discussing about some more examples of inner product space. So, one classic example is the space L2AB, which consists of set of all continuous functions defined on closed interval AB, and the norm and the inner product defined as inner product xy should be equal to integral a to b x of t times y of t times d of dt. So x and y are elements of L2 of AB, which means that x and y are functions, actually continuous functions, which is defined on closed interval AB. We have already discussed about this space, and in this vector space we have defined a norm and established that that's actually a normed space. In this we will be establishing this as a inner product space. So let's move on to the properties. The first property is inner product x plus y comma z. By definition, it should be equal to integral a to b x plus y times z dt. That is integral a to b x of t plus y of t times z of t dt. Now we can split this up into two parts, integral a to b x of t z of t dt plus integral a to b y of t z of t dt. Now by definition, this can be written as xz, inner product xz. The second part is inner product yz. So we have established that the first property of the inner product is being satisfied. So moving on to the second property. So inner product of alpha x y. So this by definition should be equal to integral a to b alpha x of t times y of t dt. Now alpha x of t should be equal to alpha times x of t. So this should be equal to integral a to b alpha times x of t y of t dt. If we take alpha outside, alpha times integral a to b x of t y of t dt, which should be equal to alpha times inner product xy. So this is the second property. So moving on to the third property, which is inner product of xy should be equal to integral a to b x of t y of t dt. So inner product yx conjugate is actually integral a to b y of t times x of t dt, the whole conjugate, which is actually integral a to b x of t times y of t dt. So which is in inner product xy. Okay. So this is the third property. Moving on to the fourth property, which is actually IP4 is actually inner product xx. It should be equal to integral a to b x of t times x of t dt. Please remember that here we consider x of t and y of t to be real valued functions. So its value is always real numbers. That's why if we take the conjugate, it does not actually affect the whole thing because the answers are always real numbers. So in real numbers, conjugate is same as the number itself. Here this is integral a to b x of t the whole square dt. Okay, now this is equal to 0 means inner product xx is equal to 0 means integral a to b x of t the whole square dt is equal to 0. Now x of t is a continuous function. It's actually considered to be a real valued function. Then its square is always a positive real valued function. So this is actually a positive function and whose integral, since it is continuous function, so it's a continuous function on closed interval a b, its integral is equal to 0, then we have a result. Let f be a continuous function. F is continuous on AB and f of x, f is greater than or equal to 0, which means f is always positive. Then integral a to b f of x dx is equal to 0 implies f is equal to 0. We have a result. So here x of t square is always positive. Since x of t is continuous, its square is always continuous. So it's a continuous positive function whose integral is 0, which means that x of t the whole square is equal to 0, which implies, which is if and only if x of t is equal to 0, which means x is equal to 0. X of t is equal to 0 for all t. So x inner product xx is equal to 0 if and only if x is equal to 0. Now you can do the reverse part as well. Whenever x is equal to 0, square is 0, integral is 0, inner product xx is 0. So the fourth part is satisfied, and also this value is always positive because we have a result that f of x greater than or equal to g of x, where f and g are continuous function, then integral a to b f of x dx also preserves the ordering greater than or equal to integral a to b g of x dx. Here x of t square is always greater than 0, okay, because it's a positive function. So integral a to b x of t the whole square is greater than or equal to integral a to b 0. Integral a to b 0 is actually 0. So this is actually greater than or equal to 0. Because x of t, if you substitute x of t square as f of x and g of x as 0, so x of t the whole square is greater than or equal to 0, then we can proceed like this. So clearly this satisfies all the properties. So L square of AB, the vector space, along with our inner product forms an inner product space. Okay, so this is the result. Now this is for real valued function. If x is considered to be a complex valued function, x and y are said to be complex valued function, we can define inner product xy as integral a to b x of t times y of t conjugate dt. That's the definition. We can always do this. The only difference comes from the fact is the third property and the fourth property. Here x of t times y of t conjugate, which if we take the conjugate becomes x of t conjugate, y of t conjugate and the whole conjugate, which becomes, we can write, we get the same answer. And also here we get x of t times x of t conjugate, we get modulus of x of t the whole square. That's the only difference we get. So similarly for complex valued function also we can define as such and make it into a inner product space. And associated with this inner product, we can have the norm x should be equal to square root of inner product xx. So square root of, that is integral a to b x of t. With respect to this, I think modulus of x of t the whole square dt. I think that's in the case of complex valued. In the case of real valued function, this is x of t the whole square. So integral a to b modulus of x of t the whole square, the whole raised to 1 by 2, which is what we have defined in the case of normed space as well. So L2AB is a norm with respect to this norm, normed space with respect to this norm, which we have defined. So all the spaces which we have studied up until now is actually all the normed spaces. Most of them has been originated from the inner product space by defining using the relation norm x is equal to square root of inner product xx. And the only space which violates this is the space LP where P not equal to 2. So these are the examples of inner product spaces. I hope you understood. Thank you. Now, before getting into next lecture, let me give you an assignment. Prove that L2AB with respect to the inner product 1 is integral a to b x of t times y of t conjugate dt is an inner product space. You have to prove it. Okay, so all the properties should be satisfied. Now what about its completion? Is it complete or is it a Hilbert space? Okay, so that's an assignment for you. Thank you.